their website.
Okay.
They're relaunching a new website.
Okay. This is so strong, by the way.
Is it? Good.
Holy shit.
I did that on purpose too. Okay.
Cool.
I'm going to be getting Nando's after this to recover.
Oh, do you know what? I haven't eaten for 6 hours. What time are we? Oh, 8 hours?
It's disgusting.
Starving.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gym
impressed.
work.
He was panicking that he wasn't going to be able to get ready for until about 7:15.
And now look at us.
And then,
It did, yeah.
6:57.
Yeah, I did manage. I did most of it earlier.
was it?
Yeah, I didn't get here till 6:30. No.
I did say, why didn't you? He was like, I'm going to have to get back, set everything up, have a shower. And I was like, why don't you just set it all up before you leave?
I haven't even had a shower. That's why he's my aftershave. When we get in the flow of it, we'll need some sort of jingle.
Salisbury Business Podcast. Salisbury Business Podcast.
Why, just off the cuff?
Yeah.
Did you just think of that?
What is that though? Why have I
I'm
got that?
kidding. It's shit.
Right, very good. Okay.
Anyway, hello. You
Hello.
don't even need to introduce your name, really, because you've got it on your top.
You got it on top, yeah.
My name's Hattie. I'm from Panthera Dance Company.
And also, I find it quite funny that Paddy nearly put his foot in it a couple of times, didn't he?
He did,
said some
yeah.
rather
Nearly.
funny.
Nearly.
So
Her birthday's maybe the 7th or the 8th.
that was so funny. And as soon as he said it, he was like, didn't he say, "Oh no,
Yeah, he did.
I
yeah.
should know that she's going to kill me"?
There was quite a few of those things as well, wasn't there?
Yeah,
so
he
I
just
guess you had
has-
words with him after it came out.
Yeah, he just has the inability to remember important things, I suppose. Like, we did our giving notice registry office thing for our wedding
Nice.
last week, and they were asking all the questions like, where do you live, what's Harriet's birthday, what's this, what's that, and I literally listened to him go, I don't really know that one. And I'm like, oh my
I
God.
don't really know that one.
No, it's
Is this an arranged marriage,
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Why don't
I was
you know
worried.
anything?
I was worried.
Yeah.
But no, he's not good with dates, numbers. He's more into grass,
You're quite
wheat.
Simple bloke.
Yeah.
Grass, wheat, and farming.
Tractors.
Yeah, tractors.
He did come across that way on the podcast as well, didn't he?
To be fair, everybody loved him. He seems like the sort of guy that everybody would meet him would be like, oh, he's really good. Like,
Yeah.
he's a really nice guy.
He is.
Everybody
yeah.
that listened to it was very.
No, I don't think many people meet him though, do they?
No, he lives. Yeah, he lives literally. He's lived on the same lane his whole life. That's it. That's Paddy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because we don't see it. I mean, obviously, again, in houses, people move so often now.
Yeah.
Especially people of our age, because we're all fairly similar. I mean, you must late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we're all kind of a fairly similar-ish age, aren't we? And we just move around so much. Jobs, holidays. 34.
Oh yes, late 20s.
Yeah.
You're similar, aren't you?
Oh, I'm 29.
Are you?
No, I'm 32.
I was going to say, I swear we had this conversation.
You don't remember anything.
No.
I've told you 7 times that I play golf.
Do you support Arsenal? yeah, okay, you do.
that's
Yeah.
the one.
But yeah, no. Yeah, he was probably chill. But he was saying how you guys had quite a classic where you met.
Yeah, we went to school together. In the words of Paddy, we didn't cross friendship groups. And Paddy was in the cool group, and I was not in the cool group.
What would you
I
put
didn't
yourself
anticipate that, you know. I really thought you would be in the cool group, and Paddy would be like the farmer,
the nerd at the
Well,
back.
thanks for that. I would say I was a floater.
Okay, interesting.
It's a good word to use to describe yourself.
No, I had lots of little different friendship groups, but yeah, so we knew each other from school, and then it 10 years later it was dating app central, so
Nice.
we met each other on a dating app,
Reconnection.
and then that
That's
was
cool.
it.
Yeah,
It was quite good though, because we didn't have to do all of the rubbish questions like, what's your favourite colour, where do you live,
Yeah.
what do you do, because we kind of knew each
Well, he
other.
did because he couldn't remember from 10
Yeah,
years ago.
well, he still doesn't remember the answers, so
Yeah.
it's fine. But yeah, no.
He'd be an all-time terrible contestant like Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
What's her favourite colour? White?
He really would. He had no idea.
I think that
it's
might
alright.
be a good idea for an episode. You know, get you both on.
Just the
Yeah,
two of us.
back to
Yeah.
back. Yeah. That's really funny. And so you grew up in.
I grew up in Salisbury as well. Yeah,
Nice.
I was a South Wilts girl and he was a Bishop's boy, so
Nice.
that's how we first crossed paths. But yeah, Salisbury born and bred. I went off to uni and then came back, and that's essentially what he did as well. So
What did you do? What did you do at uni?
I did dance.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody who actually went to uni
Yeah.
and used what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think genuinely there's only about 6 or 7 of us on the whole course that actually ended up dancing. So yeah, it's like you say, a lot of different courses. No one ever really goes into what they've studied, do they? So
How did you get into that? Because it's interesting, isn't it? We speak to so many people and they're like, you don't get any career advice when you're at school. I think we spoke to Prue, didn't we? And she was saying at the first episode, and you just don't get any direction. You don't do anything finite. How did you get into that? Did you like dancing casually as a teenager, and then you just go into it?
So I started dancing when I was 2. Just my parents just put me into a ballet class. Yeah, that was it. It was just skipping around the room, having a great time. And then I literally every evening after school danced until I was 18.
Wow.
And then I took a gap year and I worked at a dance company in Salisbury, just helping, assisting classes. And it was in, like you say, at school, I had absolutely no guidance with what I wanted to do. Especially, I loved my time at South Wilts, but they were very much academic. You want to get into Oxford, you want to get into Cambridge, you want to get A stars. And I was more of a creative type that didn't really want to do the academics. Even though I did them, but then I was like, yeah, it's just not for me. I wasn't around.
She says I did them. I bet you if we asked what you got on your A levels, you're like A star, A star, A star.
It was.
It was, isn't it? Yeah. I like. It's just everyone who's really humble about their. It's always like, what did you get? I didn't really get along with school. What did you get? 7 A stars. Yeah, wicked. Yeah.
No, they just didn't give any. They weren't very accepting of creative jobs, and I think that's changed because I have students now that are like, oh, they've given us this guidance. They've given us this guidance. But when I was there, it was. You want to dance? And I was like,
I see,
yeah, I do. And then it kind of gave me a bit of a wobble because in my gap year, I took a gap year because I didn't know if I wanted to go into dance, but I did like a couple of like jobs like Waitrose and stuff like that. And then that was when I was like, okay, without dance, I don't know what I would do. So that's when I auditioned and went and studied. But South Wilts, I guess, didn't really help me with that. But it made me realise what I didn't want. So,
yeah. Well, that's you got something out of it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, that, isn't it? Because I think it's getting better now, where like schools are being slightly more open, but it is still so, it's still so pigeonholed in towards the academic stuff, isn't it? Like your English, your science, your maths, and that's interesting. And so when you say getting into dance, did you always have a career path? Or in your mind of like, okay, I want to. What does a career in dance look like?
Well,
does that make sense?
There's so many opportunities in dance because a lot of people just believe when someone says I want to do dance, it's I want to be a dancer, but it's not necessarily that. Like now, I wouldn't count myself as a dancer. I'd be a choreographer or a director, a movement director. So there's loads of different opportunities that are actually in dance. But I think when I was at school, people think, okay, she wants to do dance, she wants to be a dancer. You definitely need a backup. Make sure you have a backup. Make sure you have something to fall back on.
Is that dancer in theatre or?
It could be in anything, I suppose. Yeah.
There are so many different things that you could do. Like
even like adverts on TV and stuff like that. You don't realise how much dance is in so much until you really watch and then you're like, oh, that's a dancer. And it's not necessarily even like dancers are employed for like the movement in adverts. Like if there's people walking around in the background, they're most likely dancers as well because
got to walk a certain way.
It is that. So there's so much that people could go into in dance, and especially if you're in the theatre, there's like the backstage stuff and the movement stuff, and there's so much that you could go into. It's not just you're a dancer, you're only going to be a dancer and that's it.
And when you left school, did you know what you wanted to do in dance, or you kind of just went in wherever?
Yeah, I went to university to study dance. So instead of you have 2 routes really, and you can go to a dance school, which is not funded by the government, and there is a university. And my family were at a point where we were like, well, we're not sure we want to spend thousands of pounds putting you into dance college if you don't know if that's exactly what you want to do. So try it out at uni, see what goes on. And the positive of having the uni experience is not only did you do all the performing, but you did the teaching and you did the choreographing and you did like the business studies of it as well. Cool. So it wasn't just you're going to be a dancer on the stage. Whereas I'm not saying that dance colleges don't do that, but they definitely focus on that a little bit more than what a university does. So my sister is currently at dance school in London, and she is focused on being a dancer. So she wants to go and do like West End stuff and theatres and stuff like that. Whereas I, in my few years, then went, actually, I'd love to do the show stuff, and I did do a bit of performing, but ideally I'm more of a business-minded person, and I want to be able to do all the other bits as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
So quite a good sort of, because did you say you both sort of co-own Panthera?
Yeah,
in that
so
sense?
my sister, it's a family business. So my dad retired, and then he helped us out, and he now talks to all the mums and everything like that. Bless him.
Go on, Dad.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Don't get yourself into any trouble.
And then Anya and I part own it, but she's obviously at dance school, so I guess I've started it up for the last 5 years, and then when she comes back, she can pop in and out when she's not being a star on the stage.
Cool. And how's she getting on?
Yeah.
She graduates in July, and she's got 7 agent offers already.
Wow.
So I think she's gonna be
Anya.
all right.
So is that kind of like people will go and have a look at them at the school and see the plays and things like that and be like, oh yeah, not that I want that one.
Yeah,
essentially, yeah.
Similar.
That's creepy, but yeah.
Dad's just
this one.
Yeah, there's like an agent showcase, so they do a singing one and they do a dancing one. So she's going to be like a triple threat. She wants to do singing, dancing, and acting. And then all of these agents come and watch, and then they choose which performers that they would like to be on their books, and then they put in an offer. So they'll say, okay, I'd like to be your agent. I'll be able to get you in the room to auditions for this West End play, this, and this.
I guess they've got the connections with the different theatres.
Exactly,
and
okay. And then in return, you'll give me 10% of your earnings, etc. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she's got to weigh up which ones work best for her and where she wants to go, because it's not only you could have a dance agent, you could have a musical theatre agent, you could have a commercial dance agent. There's so many different agents that you can have. So you don't just have to have one; you could have multiple.
Because I guess like anything, there might be one that specialises in more the dance. There might be one that could get her into more avenues with regards to singing and
exactly that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So she's having a tough choice at the moment.
Because we went to see Peaky Blinders. I think
by
it was
Rumba Dance in Mayflower.
Yeah. Which for the first 15 to 20 minutes I thought was so bad because I hadn't read the thing properly, and I thought they were going to be talking, and so I hadn't and so for the first
so it was just a dance.
Just a dance, for the first. You imagine it's one of my favourite TV shows.
Yeah.
So I sat there.
I can imagine.
I sat there going, there'll be some really cool, and for about 15, 20 minutes I was sat there going. And then
the pre-show?
And then I was sat there going, right, need to appreciate this more. And then actually by the end of it, like as it went on, there was some dramatic bits that happened, and then suddenly you started to realise that I sort of got to the end and I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't, that's not normally my thing.
Yeah.
But actually, like it proper told the story of what I sort of know about Peaky Blinders,
Were you dancing along at the end?
Luckily, I was in the seat at the back, so when I was giving it...
when a good song came on.
That's a strange one to think that they do a dance thing for, but
I didn't see it, but it had some good reviews, and it must have been good.
Well, the applause at the end said that it was pretty good.
Yeah, but they're a very contemporary dance company as well, and contemporary can be. It's a bit like Marmite. You either really like it or you really hate it. Like there's it's not a huge in between bit.
Yeah, but that's such a talent though, isn't it, to be able to tell that story?
Yeah.
Without saying words in singing or speaking form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to actually be able to get across what's going on with,
and
obviously again you start to recognise bits with. This is what's going on, and I'm sort of trying to relate it to stuff I may or may not have understood during the series and things. But I thought it was fantastic by the end of it.
Does it sing?
No, nothing. Just dancing.
Just music
Just lighting, props.
I haven't seen one of them before.
Yeah, really fascinating. Because I really like the theatre for I've been to see loads of stuff, singing and obviously all the usual plays and things. But that was, and that's what I thought I'd booked.
Yeah.
When we got there, it was like, why is nobody saying anything? And I remember going, I just need the toilet quickly, and I went and looked at my phone, and it was like contemporary dance, and I was like, oh,
well, okay, this is what it is.
But a pleasant surprise at the end.
No, it was. It was really good. Which again, I suppose is where like where people like us need educating as to what's on offer now. Like,
Yeah.
again, you think of Phantom of the Opera and Lion King, and you're like, okay, cool. But there's actually so much more.
There's so
nuance
much depth to it. There's so much depth to it. And to be fair, Wiltshire Creative have got quite a big array of what they put on. I still think they should do more dance, but yeah, it is. You can literally watch anything. Yeah, Wiltshire Creative. No,
I think, do they follow us?
Yeah, because we donated. That was one of the first donations.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So okay. So Anya's in London a bit,
Yes.
and obviously you're here now. Obviously living with the great Paddy.
the great.
Paddy the Great.
Paddy the Great.
Paddy the Great.
King Paddy of Downton.
In brackets, farm.
So yeah, and you're obviously kind of heading up classes. I know you're going to a class after this. So
Yes.
what does your week look like at the moment?
So we run about 65 classes a week.
That's intense.
At our studios, and that is between myself and 9 other teachers.
Okay.
And then we also run classes in primary schools and secondary schools, and we do some workshops in different places. Like we've gone to St Mary's in Cairn, and we've gone to Salisbury Cathedral and Godolphin, so private school stuff as well. But yeah, most of the stuff that we do at schools is like after school clubs, but we also do PE and PPE, and we train teachers how to dance for the dance curriculum. Because we do end up, when you look at dance curriculum, sometimes they can literally be, okay, now get all 30 children to walk around looking like a fly. And you're like, is that dance?
Sounds so
is that dance?
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of like put more of a technical dance perspective on it from dancers rather than from people who are like, yeah, that's dance, isn't it? Yeah.
I love that. That's such a limited view on, isn't it? Like, yeah, no, that's really good.
So what ages do you teach from? Is it like
we start at 2. However, we've just started like mum and baby groups as well. So we do like yoga and dance and just disco sessions and playtime sessions with them as well. And our oldest dancer he's actually a yogi. He's 91. He comes and does yoga.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So
he
cool,
loves
isn't
it. He is living life. He is amazing. But
yoga is quite hard.
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but I struggle to stretch before going for a run.
I can see a good video coming on here.
What, me and you doing yoga?
Yeah.
Cut to you doing yoga now.
In fact,
we'll try a yoga pose after this.
That should be quite a funny follow-up to this as we go along to a class.
Yes.
And
why would you suggest something like that? Come on.
I just think that would be. There's nobody that wouldn't enjoy watching the absolute brutality of how that would look.
I don't know. I can't imagine
any style you like. Any style.
Yeah. No, you pick half an hour and you do whatever you like. Yeah.
It's got to be ballet, right?
Or heels.
No.
Heels class.
Yeah.
Heels class.
The 18, the 18 plus one.
The 18
where you do
plus
a bit
heels
of,
class.
You do a bit of.
Do that again. What was it? Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
I've basically done it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done. Okay. So you don't need to go.
I'll watch you.
Yeah.
In the least way possible. But yeah, that's 65 classes. That's quite intense though.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
It's good. It's good fun though. We have 2 studios, so they run simultaneously, and then we just do stuff in different schools and different workshops. We work quite closely with Wiltshire Creative, so we do their like Friday under 5s, story time movers, and yoga stuff with all the under 5s.
You've done seriously well in 5 years then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for 5 years.
That's really
very
Thanks.
good.
And I assume it's like any good set up business. It's like word of mouth. You just get people coming along because they're friends of people that already
It really
go.
was, yeah. Thankfully, the mother community of Salisbury is really strong. So when we first started and the mums came in, we were like, tell your other mums. Tell your other mum friends.
Oh, it's just not going to... Yeah, you have to tell them.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it was word of mouth. And then when we go into schools, more people are like, oh, we love that PE lesson. Why don't we come and do classes and stuff like that? So, and with adults, it is about friendship groups because adults are the most nervous people to get into classes. Yeah. So if one person in a friendship group gets the guts to step into the door and do it, then their whole friendship group will come because they're like, oh, this is a good fun thing to do rather than just sitting at home.
Yeah, to be able to have the guts to go up, and I would never ever be able to do that.
Well, I think it's like anything, isn't it? It's like, if I was to sit there and go, I want to start playing football again, you think to yourself, you're probably rocking up to, or rugby, you're rocking up to a collection of people that are probably so friendly and welcoming, but you'd be initially thinking like, oh God, they're all going to be like, who's this guy?
Rugby.
Huh?
I don't think so.
Well, no. Honestly, I mean, I used to play for Salisbury Rugby Club, and they were, like we used to love it when new people joined.
Yeah.
So you're sort of, I do know what you mean. Like as adults, we're quite protective of our own environments and things, but like I actually think that's a weird thing that it's not actually true. Like if you come in and you don't take the Michael and you actually put effort in and you pay when you're supposed to and all that kind of stuff, I think you just, because we all want more people doing what we love.
Exactly that. Yeah.
So
I have absolutely no rhythm whatsoever. Like I am.
That's what everyone says when they start coming to a dance class. But you can't. You're not supposed to walk into a dance class being perfect. You're supposed to learn. So.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
That's
very true. Yeah.
I think
I'm being persuaded.
I think we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to do a class.
Do you have a 30s
Please.
Men class?
We do now.
Yeah, just me and you.
I reckon we can get a few people along.
I probably could. Yeah.
I don't know what you'd have to write a new program for it, but the worm.
I've always wanted. My dad, he's not a dancer, but he loves dancing, and he won't mind me saying this. He loves showing off as well. And I've always wanted to do like a dad dancing class, like all the dads,
so cool,
just get the dads in, and then they can have a curry afterwards and watch the rugby or the football or whatever. But just like
that would
45 minutes of the dads dancing would be.
I reckon that could turn.
I reckon there's a few people that owe me favours. I reckon I could. I reckon I'll say, well, I'm calling it in. You come into a dance class.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Yeah, let's see if we can get there.
That'd be funny.
I don't know what we've just roped ourselves into, but there you go.
But ballet's meant to be really good for football. Have you seen all the studies on that? No. He's going.
No, he's like, I don't believe you, Hattie. Yeah, well, what are you talking about?
Ballet is actually meant to be really good for football. Like I watched this YouTube thing ages ago. I have no idea what it was, but there was a football team that did a ballet class, and the rules and the techniques of ballet actually helped them with their football, with their balance, with their coordination, and
that makes
yeah.
sense. For a second, I thought you meant that. Have you seen football. The ballet? Well, I've seen the dance. Have you seen the dance football thing?
No. What's that?
Oh God.
Oh yeah. So basically, I don't know what the rules are.
Put a video on the screen. Put a video on the screen.
Yeah, I'll show a video on the screen. But basically, when you're playing the game, you don't actually have to kick the ball because you're judged more on your dancing than scoring a goal. So basically, you just get a bunch of people sort of like twirling around and doing all these weird...
Ball's just there in the middle going,
And they're not good at dancing at all, like none of them.
That's brilliant. That sounds great fun.
I've always obviously like watching I watch gymnastics every 4 years at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And obviously it's quite fun, isn't it, how they do the backflips and stuff, and then it's all about the kind of choreography of making it all fluid.
Yeah.
And I remember watching a clip of somebody who was just like practicing, who was obviously, and it was just not the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know it's like a little minor thing, but it just came to mind, like actually just watching them do the backflip. Of course, that's what you go to watch, but actually then the kind of flowing bit in between is actually what made that. Makes it look watchable.
The whole performance.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just doing.
Otherwise they just stop for 5 minutes and then you can see them stretching and they'll and then they'll go do it again and you're sort of thinking, well, that's boring.
Yeah. Well, it's quite similar in dance competitions when we take. So we took our street crews to a big competition a few weekends ago, and one of their rules was there mustn't be a trick in there like a backflip or whatever unless there is a purpose to it, which I suppose is what you're saying in between the tricks.
Absolutely.
There needs to be some purpose to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just watching some guy flip again, and you're like, well, we know you can flip.
It's a story, isn't it? It's the feeling of, I guess, people who are more into it than I would be, but it's the storytelling, it's the emotion of the music as well. I guess that's a big thing, isn't it?
I feel like you know a lot more than what I
thought
you would.
He's going to come into this class and be a secret dancer.
Yeah. I was up so late last night researching. I find it. I mean, I just enjoy watching gymnastics whenever it's on, but it's fascinating, isn't it?
Is it the same for all of your classes that it leads on to like doing shows and doing competitions and that kind of thing?
So we have 4 crews which people audition for. So they come and do auditions to be part of a street crew or a contemporary crew, and they go to competitions, and they essentially are our public facing crews. They're the ones that do all the performances in town and stuff like that. But if you're in any other class, every 2 years we do a show for the entirety of the whole school, and it's optional. You don't have to do it, but most people do it.
Where's that?
Well, last year, 2024, we did it in the Blackledge Theatre at Godolphin, but next year we're in the final stages of booking the City Hall so that we can get everyone in, because we have over 280 students now. So if they all say yes, then I'm like, Godolphin.
Lyceum Theatre, here we come.
Yeah. So everyone has the opportunity to perform, but it's not for some people. So we give them the opportunity, but if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. There's no pressure.
Yeah. But that's the point about, isn't it? About how, like, I think you perceive that you would see some of the stuff that maybe you put out on your social medias and things, and you'd be like, oh, that's quite intense. But actually, those are the people that want to push themselves. They want to go and perform in front of other people.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you'd say that there's a lot of people that just turn up for fitness and
absolutely.
And
they just turn up to do something for them, and they don't want to be filmed or photographed, and they don't want to learn all the techniques. They just want to do an hour's worth of something for themselves, and that's completely fair enough. And I think that's, like, some dance schools they focus specifically on exams or performances, because you can go through grades and do different exams in different styles, but we have that option in some of our classes, but it's not a necessity. So with us, it's kind of like, we want to create that family feel where there's no pressure. You can come in, you can wear whatever you want, you can look like whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, and do whatever you want. If you want to learn, then just come in and learn.
It's good to know for the class that we're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want.
Be who you want to be.
Yeah. This is just going to be satire, isn't it? Just kind of clown outfit or something. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, 280 is seriously good going. What's the I know obviously you're clearly doing incredibly well. What's the sort of 5, 10, because you're doing exceptionally well for
the plan.
What's the plan?
So I would love for Panthera to keep growing. We're just doing a studio renovation at the moment, so we're moving into a bigger studio which has got 2 studios in it. So eventually we'll have 3, which means more classes. We're opening up more classes in hoop and pole and Zumba and yoga. So hopefully that will just grow, and I would love for the community to just grow as well, because we have like this. We call it a parents' viewing area. Essentially, it stops the parents being in the class with their kids, but they can come upstairs, sit down, watch the class on the TV. It doesn't disturb the kids. You can get free tea or coffee. There's cake. You can sit down. And I genuinely thought that our business would be dance, but actually it's creating that community for all of the parents as well. Yeah. And I genuinely thought it would be like 80-20. Dance is, the 80%, but it really is 50-50. Like the dancing,
parents end up becoming friends and things, won't they?
Exactly that. Yeah. So I'd love for that community to grow, and then I've started doing some more like external choreography. So I'm choreographing Shrek for Musical Theatre Salisbury this year.
Oh, cool.
Which is in the Playhouse. Yeah. It's super exciting. It's like a summer pantomime. It's crazy and amazing. And then I'm the assistant director for the actual panto this year as well. And I suppose you could call me an offstage swing, because if they need me, I'm going to be on the stage, which is terrifying.
So if someone's not available, ill, whatever.
Yeah, they have 2 swings which are on stage, which will cover main parts if they need to be covered. But unfortunately, over the last 2 years, we've had a couple of shows where a lot of people have been unwell. So I suppose I'm like the third backup. Wow. Last year I went on as the Lego Monster. I don't know if you watched it, but I was the Lego Monster on the stage.
But then weird, obviously, but people couldn't see you.
I was full suited up Lego Monster. I don't even know what the Lego Monster is.
So nobody would have
called.
known it was you.
No, thank God, because it was literally, they called me up and they were like, "You need to go on," and I was like, "What? As what?" And they were like, "The Lego Monster."
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, out of all of them,
can you send us a photo of that so we can?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I suppose it's planned this year. If they need me, I can go on. But so for my plan, I guess, is focus more on choreography. I'd love to be a choreographer and get bigger shows and get bigger plays, and Panthera kind of run itself, but also I can come back and do classes.
Being selfish, that's where the big money for you would be, if you started to get into being choreographing West End, or.
But also, I suppose in the dance world, it is very much about network. And if I go into those circles and into those groups of people, I then bring that back to Panthera as well. So more people are like, oh, so Hattie who does this.
Absolutely.
Oh, I want to come back to
absolutely.
Panthera,
So it
which is
all sort of
essentially
complements each other. doesn't
yeah,
it?
exactly. So because it's all in the same like circles, I suppose it would help Panthera as well. And it's like if Anya gets big shows and stuff like that, again, if she comes back to do workshops, people will be like, oh, she owns Panthera, so come back and do
Absolutely.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool, wouldn't it? Like she comes back once every 3
yeah,
or 4
she's
months.
a celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, it's just credibility, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
it's just
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
That's
it's
so
like
cool.
industry training. If people want to be trained by industry professionals, then this is where you've got to go, because you've got me and the choreography and the directing, etc., and you've got Anya who's on stage, and whatever journey you go on, one of us will have the knowledge for it.
Yeah, sure. So
that's
for,
what the plan is.
yeah, for you then, obviously you got Panthera running by itself,
Mm.
and then do you then have to go and like audition or apply for these
Yeah, I suppose
choreography kind of things outside of Salisbury? Because obviously you know
Yeah.
these guys, but
I
if you wanted
think
to get bigger,
I don't know the exact process, but I believe so far from what I've learned, it is about word of mouth. So if I work with a director who's then like, you are a great assistant director, and then they go and tell another director and like, you need this, then this girl's the person you need. So it is about word of mouth and how you can adapt to working with people, because if I was a horrible person and no one liked me, everyone would be like, well, don't employ her. So don't get her. So it's about leaving those impressions and then your name being passed around.
Right.
That's how I've got what I've got so far, because people are going, well, she was good on this, so come and do this. Makes me sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but you know.
well, you're on the podcast.
I'm great.
You should be.
Yeah, so it's just, I think it's more about word of mouth. But I think if I wanted to go like for something in London, then I'd have to step out my comfort zone and go, hi, I
Isn't it
do
like
this.
So start to push it out.
Is it not like a really cool like image in your head of going, you're directing and producing a show that Anya's in?
That would be so cool.
That would be.
Anya would hate it, but
You did it wrong. Shut up, Hattie.
No, I'm hoping I think she's going to audition for the Panto this year as a professional as well. So if she gets in there, that would be awesome. Yeah, because anyone in the country can audition to be part of the Panto because they're all professional actors. So I'm hoping, who knows? Yeah.
What's your experience, sir? Will Scarlett and Robin Hood 26 years ago?
Well, you never know.
It's better than what I've had. I didn't do anything at school.
Yeah, that was my one and only time on the stage. It was good fun.
My dad used to dress up as Elvis.
No, that was just on a Saturday
night. I'm not even kidding. It was in front of he's gonna hate me for saying that, because it was in front of his parents. He would do little shows from and stuff. He was really young, as in
that's quite cute.
15. Yeah, I love that.
That's still pretty.
What,
15
comes out with a fake wig on and some glasses,
fully dressed.
Yeah.
He had the hair anyway. But he did do one at, I think it was at the Playhouse. I might have just overdone that.
Sharon's going to be like, damn, what the hell are you talking about?
She'll love it. My dad definitely won't.
My dad, 2 years ago when we started the heels classes, at our Christmas party thing, there was a record scratch in the music, and he did a choreographed dance in heels in front of the entire school.
Wow.
All right.
He was just having a great time.
So you think you both get your performing side from your dad?
Your
mum's just sat there shaking her head like, what are you doing?
What is going on? No, I mean his previous job was not performing, but I suppose there was elements of it because he was in the police for 40 years. But he was also on things like the Drug Squad, where he had to be undercover. So that's where the acting skills come out and stuff like that. So I suppose even though the police and a dance school seem completely opposite, there were some bits in it where I suppose he's a bit of a performer. We've got to get it from somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say. So what's mum like? She proper chilled.
Mum was also a police officer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but she now works in schools, and she's a safeguarding lead for a couple of schools around Salisbury.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, she's not a performer, but she'd give it a good go. 100%.
Cool. I assume they met in the police.
They did.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Just had to cover that off.
Yeah. So you didn't want to go down that route as well?
No, I think there was at some point in my life I was like, yeah, that would be really cool. And then when you get older, you realise the really serious part of that job, and you're like, no, I just want to be like the inspectors on like TV, like clues and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's not like playing Cluedo. It's not that.
Wait, what? It's
a lot less drama. Yes, for anybody I know, it's a bit like everyone thinks my job is videos and selling Sunset. And I was just outside trying to peacemake between two people who don't want to move. They want to move on completely different dates. And do you know what I mean? So you're almost sat there like,
I don't see that side of it.
You know, you're constantly just going from the outside. You always look at the glamour. It's what social media is about. It's what, you know. I guess we didn't see the times when you started up and people would say they're going to turn up for classes and they didn't.
Oh God.
You know, you booked a
that
studio
all the time.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still now, I guess.
Yeah,
especially when you got 280.
Yeah, people are. You know, one of the most. Well, it's not the most annoying thing that I found in business, but it's one of the things that I found annoying is when people go, do you want to start that? I'd really love to do that. Or, do you want to make that piece of leisure wear? I would buy that. And then do it. And then no one comes. No one buys it. And I'm like, I did what you asked me to do.
I created this and you're not interested.
Exactly. It's quite annoying. Like, I genuinely wish there was a truth button on some people when they're like, I don't want them to be like, I'd love to try it, and then never try it. I'd rather them just be like,
not for me.
It's not really for me.
So is that your biggest challenge, you'd say, then, like in terms of growing and stuff? Is it working out where people's genuine interest is and where you put your time and resources?
I suppose, in terms of the business, it's really difficult predicting what people want, because obviously we're going through, everything's really expensive at the moment and stuff like that. If people want to spend money on dance classes because it's not a necessity, but also there's big push on mental health at the moment, and dance does help with mental health. So it's about like trying to weigh up whether people are going to be more of, I'll spend the money because I want to enjoy it and I want to try things, or no, I don't want to spend money on that. I'd rather spend money on something else.
Yeah, sure.
So like,
that makes sense.
Predicting where the world is really hard, especially when so we've filled all of our classes in the evenings, but we haven't filled them in the daytimes because that's so difficult to predict. There's people work in the daytime, so am I looking at people who have retired or mums with babies, and when do they come out? When do they come out? So
somewhere between 9:30 and 2:30.
And then you try it, and then they're like, nah, we don't do Tuesdays, and I'm like, really?
You told me you did.
So it's trying to, when you're putting on new classes, it's trying to predict what people want, but also trying not to listen to them go, I'd really love this, because half the time they're lying.
So what we said about being the dad group. Yeah. Well, you're not even a dad, but being the mid-30s.
Yeah, I'm older than you though, so
Really, we're lying. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's never going to be a follow-up.
I would do it.
No, I
would do it.
I absolutely would. I think that's, and I think that's, we've had a bit of a common theme with people coming on saying that, like, and as you're growing a business, you're relying so much on trusting people, because the only way you can sort of get yourself from here to, and obviously which you've done an exceptional job of, and I guess that's because you've created a great product and you're offering people great value for what you charge them, and so they're coming back. But it's like, okay, well, now I want to go to the next level. I want to do these things I've talked about. How do you and so do people that pay like a membership with you, or is it class basis?
We don't do pay as you go. They pay for a half a term, so that's like 6 weeks. So they essentially, the most that they pay for is 6 weeks worth of classes, and then we do like £5 trials. You can come and try whatever class for a £5. But this is what we had to work through, because originally they were free, and then millions of people would book it, and then no one would turn up, and you'd be like, well, I have a full class tonight, and then it'd be one person. Like, I think...
Solo!
Yeah, exactly. And then that one person would be like, what am I doing here? There's no one here.
That would be great.
Oh, yeah, if you're on your own, that must be really hard.
Yeah, it's really scary for them. But
you've got this talented dance choreographer in front of you, just staring at your every move.
And then you feel bad for them, because they're obviously nervous, but also you're, as a teacher, like, I really don't want to force them to do something they don't want to do, and but like when I listened to Paddy's podcast about him saying like support local, one of the most difficult things that I found is I don't like staying still. I want to do the next thing all the time, and if I've done that, I want to do more. And so when we've started these like mum and toddler groups, about 3 weeks ago, we put on a free event, and we were like, right, let's just get people in. They can come and do Easter crafts, and they do a little bit of dance, a little bit of yoga. And there was like 45, 50 people there. And there were so many people, we were overwhelmed. And then when we were talking to all of them, and we were like, can you, do you want to sign up for this? And they were like, yeah, we love it. Let's do this. Gave them all the details, paid hundreds of pounds to make this event work. Not a single person signed up. And you're like,
yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
These people, they come for the free events with no intention at all of supporting your business after. Yeah. And there were some people in that event that came, they like brought cake, and they were like, this is so nice, thanks, here's some cake, and let's share it round. And that's when you're like,
I bet they went back to all their friends, and they were like, I went to a great event at Panthera. Oh, I was such a big part of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, never support you ever again. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying not to be salty, but it's just difficult when you're like, yeah, that event went really well, and then the classes start, and you're like, there's no one here.
You get to. I think we were trying to encourage Paddy to be more salty, weren't he? He was like, he was talking about like, I don't want to sound like I'm moaning, and we were like, moan,
please do.
Yeah. I don't want to rant, but
like we don't want all of these podcasts just to be. Because the idea is about supporting people like you doing what you're doing, and just being able to be. Because I guarantee you, there will be people that have seen your content. That we were talking about a couple of people that we know who have done your classes, posted videos on Instagram and stuff. There'll be people that have seen it and they're kind of going, oh, I don't really know what the vibe is. Is it just that, or and so like we want to get out all the good stuff, but it's like. We're also all apart from Dan, whose business seems to have grown far too quickly for my liking. But that you go through these periods where you are sat there, they don't see nobody turning up for the classes.
Yeah. 100%.
And so like I think the rants and the moans are actually a little bit quite.
Yeah,
important.
we need the saltiness. Yeah, we need the as Adam said in the last one. It's the juicy content we want. So there you go.
The juicy stuff.
What else do you want to complain about?
Well, how much time we got?
Did you see Nigel Farage was in town?
I did.
I saw that.
I literally was mental. I text my dad, and he's in Spain. My dad loves Nigel Farage. Sorry, Dad. I hate him now. But yeah, he was literally still out there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Were you
Why?
just
I wasn't here.
Were you chucking eggs at him?
Oh, I was at football.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Why was he here?
Campaigning local elections and stuff. And I think the Reform candidate in Salisbury's got doing all right. So, again, let's not take this.
No, anyway,
We'll
get salty then, wouldn't it?
But yeah, no,
too salty.
I drove past here slow, and luckily there was traffic, and he was in his sort of like blue suit and a big camera crew, lots of people, lots of lads like 18. But
good old Nige.
Yeah, that was a random thing to me.
Yeah.
Although I saw it.
I just sort of said it.
But yeah, no, so I guess in terms of like growing, it's a case of what direction you go, where you invest your money and your time. Like so you think you'll end up dedicating more Panthera in the short term, but to the point where you can then feel like you can step away from Panthera on a day-to-day.
Yeah, I think that's what my plan is. I don't want to ever step away from it because it's like my baby and I love it. And sometimes if I'm not there for a day, I'm like, is everything okay?
What's happening?
Tell me. But no, I would love to go down the choreographer route and the movement director route and come back to Panthera for some classes, but not necessarily run it all day, every day, like I have done for the past 5 years.
Yeah, so you kind of just oversee it whilst you're off London,
that's what I'd like to do.
Abroad, directing all these.
Living the best life. No, I think it will, I don't want to ever step away from it. Like I said before, it's just, I love it and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I think when you created something like that as well, you really want to stay with
it. It's not surprising to see how well you've done because you can tell how passionate you are, you can tell how knowledgeable you are with it. Do you know what I mean? It's no coincidence that anybody we meet now who has who's made a success of themselves, it's around passion, isn't it? Time, dedication.
Absolutely.
But also you can tell you've got such a creative mind. So
and we'll see how good you are when we do our class. As well.
So it's like an exam for me as well.
When we do that class, we'll film it. So I'll bring the cameras and stuff. And then we'll post
maybe not
that
all of them.
All three. Every angle.
What do we wear? Like vests and lycra and
anything we want.
Anything you want.
This could be fun.
Mankinis?
Oh no, I'm not bringing
Depends
all three
how you
cameras.
want to treat the viewers.
Yeah. A few more months in the gym before that. That's
going to be stuck in my head for a while.
So would you say that growth is for you? Is there a financial challenge to that? Like, do you need? is capital important to you, or is it more like you just need more contacts? Because you know, some people, if you say, like, if I gave you 15, 20 grand, oh yeah, I could do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest challenge?
I wouldn't say that I don't think it's a challenge, because we have built up that base already. Like I've said, we've got 2 studios, so we run out of there already. And, you know, we're really lucky that we're not in a position where we have to hire a hall and depend on other people, and you have to be finished at this time and there's no other more times, or if we want to put on more classes, we've got to pay more for that building and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say that finance is what's stopping us. It's essentially just getting the right formula to build up the business in terms of classes and who you're aiming them at and what time they're at and how it's going to work with mums with kids and OAPs. Absolutely. And et cetera, et cetera. It's just essentially finding that perfect formula for what works, which is always going to be trial and error. And it is trial and error in every business, because everyone that has ever owned their own business has always made mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it will always, they'll grow from that. So
so you're trying all these different things out, and you know,
and there are going to be a million things that fail.
Yeah, and then there'll be the golden nuggets in there that will succeed.
So on that basis, I guess what you're saying is, like, the people attending certain classes is your feedback to be like, okay, well, if we invested in that, whether it's quality of training, whether it's time, whether it's more classes, you're almost saying the feedback you need is people turning up to do certain things, and then you can turn around and be like, okay, the 18 plus class is killing it, but then the Zumba is not, so then you sort of do a little bit less of that. And would you say that's kind of like, so the footsteps need to almost speak?
Yeah, absolutely. But the difficult thing then is that we have like waves, because obviously everyone gets older every year. We then, like, we went from when we first started, our 4 to 7s and our 8 to 11s classes were packed. They were ram-packed. But our 16 plus classes, they were like 2 teenagers, because they're like, I don't want to do it, I'm scared. Now we have so many teenagers and hardly any 4 to 7s. But that's just because those 4 to 7s have got older and,
moved
you know,
on.
obviously not just 5 years, but you know what I mean? It's predicting the wave of people that are going to come in and go, and how it also depends on like how dance and arts is portrayed in the country, because around Strictly time, we have loads more people sign up for Latin and ballroom classes.
Of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
And then
that's so funny.
In January, you get loads of people sign up for fitness classes, because they're like, oh, I need to get off all the Christmas weight and stuff like that. So
I love British people. That. We're so predictable.
So predictable. Yeah, but it's about predicting that and the age and times, dates, etc., etc.
So when you're watching Britain's Got Talent, you're really hoping a dance group comes on.
I love it. Yeah, because then, you know, Diversity did loads for the dance. World, because people know who Diversity are, and they're like, oh, I want to dance like them. That's why street dance was so big when Diversity won Britain's Got Talent.
Which I would say, like, in hindsight, culturally, they had a huge impact, because absolutely. The reason it was so mad is because, I mean, we must have been, what was that, 2009, 2010?
Yeah, 2009, I reckon.
In that region. I mean, that's 16 years ago.
Yeah.
I was, 18? I remember watching them and being like, that's one of the sickest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool.
You know, but it was because it was so well done, sharp. Mm-hmm. They were all in sync.
Yeah.
But it was just something you'd never seen before.
Exactly.
And then, like, from there. So I think at the time, you're like, oh, that's quite cool. But on a deeper level, like, I mean, their significance in terms of what you do is probably, historically, will only get, you know, because they were the first, 100%. Weren't they?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah, because if one comes on now, it's a bit like,
they're always compared to Diversity.
And even if they are good, there's usually a lot that are pretty decent. So you kind of like, it's all that.
Yeah. The big dogs.
So you've really got to do something different.
That's actually really interesting, because that's one of the coolest. I remember thinking that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was insane, and they're still incredible. Cool. They're so incredible. The shows that they put on are so clever. Like I suppose some shows are ruined for me because I look at all of the like little tiny details and I'm like, I'm not actually appreciating the dance because I'm like, oh, their foot went wrong or whatever. But whenever I watch Diversity, insane. It sounds really stereotypical as a street dance teacher going, I love Diversity, but they are so clever. They are so intelligent.
Well, I think we all, you know, I mean, we all have our people that we kind of not look up to, but you take inspiration from, and you know, and I think that's what it's all about. But yeah, you wish you could have appreciated what they did more at the time.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen, and then you know, you go to a festival or you go on a holiday and everyone's like crib walking and like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you're thinking
like when Fortnite came out and everyone's doing flossing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that you know, it affects kids, and then kids are like, oh, I play Fortnite, I really want to dance like them. They come to dance classes, and you're like, oh, it's because Fortnite came out.
Yeah.
That's
actually really interesting. It's actually really.
I think those
really
kind of trends as well. It gets a lot easier now because all of these kids have got
TikTok's
5-year-olds have got
huge
phones now, haven't they?
thing.
Yeah, exactly. And if they see, if they doom scroll through enough dance videos,
like,
then they're going to be like, I want to dance.
I'm definitely going to go home and just watch diversity videos now.
I'm going to watch that
good.
first audition.
They're so good.
I just that that's a great reference.
Yeah. I had a starstruck moment. There's a huge dance festival that goes on every year called Move It in the XL in London, and you pay to do different classes, and I paid to do diversity's class, and this was about 6 weeks ago, and I'm a 28-year-old adult, and I was like starstruck. I was like, oh my god, celebrities! And then we're doing this dance, and at the end, each diversity member chooses a person in the class to perform it, and Perry, the kid with the afro, he chose me, and I was like, and he liked hand, and I was like, oh my god, I should have had again.
Sorry, Paddy.
And it was a moment where I was like, wow, this is so cool, because diversity was so inspiring, and I'm a full-grown adult, and I felt like a small child. I was like,
it's also really weird to see him as an adult.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
He's the same age. He's the same age as me, I think. And I was like,
little guy just doing backflips, like, you know. Yeah. At the end of every bit, he just literally come over the top of the
just
wall.
Randomly, Oh, there he is.
Yeah. And he's such a good dancer now. But it was.
I think that so the whole of the last podcast was based around Clarkson's Farm. I wish I'd thought of diversity sooner, because it would have been the first thing I mentioned.
You know what I said to Paddy? I was like, if they bring up like Dance Mums or Strictly, I'm going to be like, I don't watch it, and you're going to be like, What do we talk about now?
Strictly's actually a really good show, isn't it? But that's I love that about British people. It's like you see something on TV.
Yeah.
You see, England win the World Cup next in a couple of years' time. All you're going to see is football club memberships go up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that
it is
thing
so predictable.
You get inspired by.
Trends, yeah.
I think what's also you've said there is, and obviously I'm a golfer, Dan tries. But
you don't even know. But you're right.
It's the one of the coolest things I always say is I played on Thursday last week, and I played with a guy who was about 5 years older than me, a guy that was probably mid to late 50s, and a guy that's probably mid 70s.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to be able to do these things in life that, yes, your rugby's and your footballs when you're younger, you get your competitive, juice out, but I think anything where you can, it's open to almost everybody.
Yeah,
it's just,
it is.
That stands the test of time.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Our adult street dance class is incredible. There's so many ages.
That's the one we're going to
do. They're hilarious. The other day, because we're in an external hire unit just where our studios get renovated, and one of my students lives across the road from the village hall that we're in, and she came in the next day and she was like, what class did you do last? And I was like, it's adult street dance. She was like, I couldn't get to sleep because they were laughing so much. And I was like, yeah, that's just them. They honestly, they're amazing. But they're all in that bit now where they're like, I'm just here for fun and I just want to enjoy it, and it's a nice environment, and they all go out and have drinks and go to the pub and everything. It's just, and they're all different ages. I think people, different backgrounds, everything.
That would be cool.
The one thing that you've made it abundantly clear today is that it's an inclusive situation.
Yeah.
Anybody can turn up, of all ages, or male, female, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. And I think there'll be lots of people watching who, as I said, I think we're not introducing you to a lot of people because they'll know what you do. But I think, I certainly think that with so many businesses, local businesses, it's what do they do? What's my barrier to entry?
Yeah.
When would I go? How would I go? As I said, you've already said that you don't. You pay for 6 weeks. I really like that because then it makes almost people go, I'm going to give this 6 weeks.
Exactly.
I hate people who watch 3 episodes of a TV program and stop it, and then they're like, oh yeah,
I didn't give it a chance.
They're like, Game of Thrones isn't very good. I'm like, sorry.
I did do that about 4 times, actually. With Game of Thrones, I watched the first episode about 4 times.
Everyone does. Like, I did it with Breaking Bad, to be fair. But, I don't know. I just feel like that's a really cool thing where you can get people to stick at it enough to...
Yeah.
It's like the gym, I suppose, isn't it? Go for 6 weeks, not 6 days, and you'll start seeing results after 6 weeks, you know?
Yeah, you will, yeah.
You've gone for about 6 minutes over the last month. Okay, fair enough.
6 weeks now.
So what's your kind of like, but I said, I guess, message to everybody out there about how they can support you? Is it literally just sort of telling other friends and family about what you do and coming to your class?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just about network, telling people about Panthera, who we are, what we're like. It's a no pressure place. You can just come in and enjoy yourself. No one's looking at you going, you can't do that, or you're rubbish at this. You don't come into a class being perfect. You're coming into a class to learn. So if you have no rhythm and you've got 2 left feet, and I'm going to use Paddy. I'm going to use Paddy here.
Payback.
Because we're getting married in September. Obviously, we have to do a first dance. The man he's never danced in his life, and I'm going to use him as I don't know, sacrificial lamb.
I love it.
And
good
prove,
pun.
Yeah, prove that anyone can dance. Like, just come and give it a go. As long as you've got the mentality to go, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy it.
So you're going to film him before and after?
100%.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's so cool.
Marketing and humility.
that is so funny. If I was him, I would think that would be such a cool thing to obviously, because most people know you can't dance now, and then on like the wedding day, when when the dance floor's clear and everyone's sat down,
he's gonna smash it,
and he's gonna just come out slide along the floor, and I just even if it's just like for like 30 seconds, just do something wicked.
It's like Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3.
Absolutely,
He'll smash it. Yeah,
that's really cool. Well, we look forward to seeing that video.
Yes, I'll send it in.
That'll be because we are going to do podcast updates, aren't we? Like in
cool.
6.
Definitely.
We'll have you both on together.
We'll do the listener and missus thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We got to.
Yeah.
So, when's Paddy's birthday?
21st of January.
So there you
go. Yeah, obviously she's gonna know. That's the.
Paddy didn't.
Yeah, I know.
It's the 7th or the 8th.
That's what blokes are like, aren't they?
No, I'm the one that knows all the dates. Kat doesn't know any of the dates at all.
Okay, that was good.
So the one of the other things that we ask is to sort of shout out a couple of other local businesses. A lot of people, I think I'm going to say this, I'm going to ban it. A lot of people have said coffee shops. We're going to not include coffee shops in this one.
You can, you just can't give. And don't say like shout out Luke Donahue, don't say Nando's.
Not the idea.
He was like, let me think, I do like a Nando's. And we were like, okay,
somewhere local.
We all do like Nando's, Luke, but that's not what we could try to get.
What did Paddy say?
What did he...
Did you? I don't think you asked him. I don't know.
I feel like we... Did we ask him?
Did we ask him? He said...
He did say that he just stays at his farm, so I don't know if he actually did it.
Shout out to me.
He's like my coffee cup and my tractor.
Yeah, maybe we didn't actually.
Did we not ask him?
No, maybe not.
Well, it's because we were scarred from Luke.
Nando.
Okay. Okay. Businesses, local businesses. There's so many.
It doesn't I think immediately everyone tries to think of restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
no.
It
can be like we would love people to say in art like yours.
Yeah.
Just like whether it's dance, whether it's sport, whether it's music, whether it's food, coffee, whatever.
Well, I'm going to shout out Jade Nichols. I know her very well. She used to come to my dance classes, and she now does my eyebrows. And her business is JLN Beauty. She's Salisbury business.
Nice.
Who else?
I also know Sven.
Sven, you do?
Yeah, I used to go to school with Sven.
It's a small world. It's Salisbury,
isn't
You
it?
just know everybody, don't you?
So I got some stories for Sven, but we'll save those for another day. Yeah, legend.
And shout out to Laura Matthews, who is X Apparel, and she does all of our kit, our leisure wear.
Nice.
And she's Salisbury based as well.
Cool. What produces like the...
we have a whole range. We have like t-shirts, jumpers, skirts, socks, sports bras, everything you possibly think of.
I'll have to order some of the skirts.
Yeah.
Sports bras.
For the dance class.
After you said sports bras, you were like...
I need one of them.
What size?
A lot less than what it was 6 weeks ago.
Oh god, that's cool. Okay, so we should put like their details in or something. We should find a way of, because I know we say it. Should we put some links in and things like that?
Yeah, it's a good shout.
So maybe if you've got anything,
send them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So the other thing, I have to remember, we haven't done one in a while. The other thing is, so the last podcast was actually with my son,
Right.
Hugo, but
Yes.
I forgot to ask him to ask a question.
Oh.
So he answered Paddy's.
What did he?
And he just said, I don't know.
He was very nervous.
He was very nervous.
I did watch that one, bless him. He's so
Yeah.
sweet.
So we'll go with Paddy's for
question.
you as well.
This is going to be a real boring answer.
All right, well, you know, but for everybody else, the question was, if you won the Euro Millions, then what would you spend it on?
Or what would I spend it on?
Or
interesting.
was that not what the question was?
I every time
I feel like you probably watched this more than we have, so...
Well, I thought it was what would you do if you won the Euro Millions, but...
What do you do? What do you spend
That's
it on?
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, either way.
I'd do the same thing. I would invest in the business, and I'd obviously go on holiday.
Lots of holidays.
Yeah. And then I'd probably save the rest to invest in the business at some point. I might spend a bit on Paddy, depends if he remembers my birthday or not.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Here's some stuff about me. Read it, memorise it. Yeah. I'll pay for a tutor.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think that it's sort of I'm sort of calling Paddy out here, but it's a bit of a question that you ask people and everyone just goes, yeah, I'd buy a Ferrari and I'd go live in Surrey or whatever. I don't know. It's always the same shit, isn't it? The reality is I don't think any of us have got a clue.
All right, what's one thing that you would buy? What's the first thing that you would buy? Like, actually go out and buy. There's nothing to do with your business. There you go.
Nothing to do with my business.
It's got to be a house, hasn't it? You go and buy a house with a tennis court and
I'd probably build our own house on the farm or something like that.
So bricks.
Yeah,
I'd
buy bricks. Yeah.
You need bricks.
I mean, I would.
Why are you being so specific with this? She doesn't need to.
I don't know. I was just trying to switch it up a bit. All right?
And I'm getting the grit sand. And then I'm getting.
You were like, the question's rubbish, Paddy. So make it a bit more exciting, you know.
It's because we've got boring answers to that question.
Well, no, I just remember speaking to someone, and I remember thinking, we all say what we do, and we go into dreamland for a second, but then ultimately it's like, you know.
Yeah.
We'd all buy new cars, we'd all buy new houses, and we'd all go on lots of holidays.
Yeah.
I'd buy golf lessons.
Golf lessons.
Needed.
You haven't even seen me play golf. You can't be this mean.
That's true. So Hattie's actually got a dance class fairly soon, haven't you? So
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We're all good.
We're all good for a minute.
We're good.
Okay.
We're
good. So on that note,
we
we also need you to tell us your local charity.
Oh yes.
Of choice.
Okay. You forgot to ask me about asking a question.
See, this is.
Welcome to the Salisbury Business Podcast with Hatti Dawson.
I am your new host.
Oh no!
To be fair,
do you know what I thought? As soon as I was saying it, you went, oh no, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know. So.
Do you know what? The one thing I'll say is, if ever one of us can't make it and you're around,
yeah, you can do it.
You are the only person that's coming here that would be a good guest.
If I'm forgetting stuff, you ain't ever going to remember any of it.
Mate, I'm toast.
So anyway, like I was saying before.
Yes.
What's your question for the next guest?
Oh, well, funny you ask. I think
that's very funny.
My question, I have actually thought about this because I was like, I don't want to ask a standard question, but also this sounds like it's going to be a standard question, so apologies. What is your biggest obstacle, which is not a stereotypical obstacle, not like money or, space or stuff like that? What was the biggest obstacle in your journey from the beginning of opening your business to now?
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good question.
Well, I'm going to have to write that one down.
Good question. Well, don't you just watch them and then just...
Yeah, no, but afterwards I'll have to write it down.
No, that's a good question.
I'm getting forgetful as well.
That's a really kind of... That's a good one, because I think the easy answers are...
Yeah.
The easiest answer is money, obviously.
Yeah.
And the second one is so I think it's more like... I actually think there's more an emotional answer to that question.
Yeah, you can go deeper into it.
I think it's like the self-doubt. And
definitely,
That's what mine was self-doubt before.
Oh, you said that, didn't you? That's why I had to bait him into starting his own business.
Yeah.
Just got to go for it.
Yeah, I did.
I promised it. I promised him work. And then I promised him work. So then
I don't know why you're boasting.
So you were blackmailed into this.
He left his job on the promise of work, and then I didn't give you any work. No. But you were like, okay, cool. And then I quit my job.
And then he was like, I'll invest in you. And then I was like, oh, go on then. Nah. And then he's like, please let me invest. Please let me invest. Nope.
I would do. No, I am. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking to do something like that. I have also
quick.
Just a really good one. Do you want to be like? I've got this cool idea about supporting local businesses. And it's actually really interesting what you just said then, because I think so I'd love to almost do like a little Salisbury Dragon's Den, where because I think there's so many people out there who could do with
good ideas,
like financial support, but also like mentoring.
Absolutely.
I mean? Because and this is me almost answering your question there, because but I think it ties in. Like I get messages and I get people saying, like, what would you advise on this, and and it's cool because I love being able to help in that sense. But I think, like, of course there's money and of course there's investing in allowing people but I think just kind of making people understand that it's an emotional journey, it's a physical journey, it's a financial journey.
Like people don't get taught. I mean, I never got taught how to run my business. It was literally, I've got to just back myself and go for it. I've got to take steps completely out of my comfort zone to be able to get where I need to go. And like I found, I suppose me and Dad started the business, but we were both kind of like muddling through it at the beginning to get where we need to go. And having someone to have that, like to have a mentor would have been so much. I don't know.
But I guess it's like imagine you without Dad 5 years ago.
Oh my God, I wouldn't be here.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. So like that's my thought. Is there people out there who are?
There's got to be, 100%.
Who's like mid-20s. They've got an amazing idea like yours. Maybe don't quite have the financial power or whatever, or the financial backing to be able to go, okay, this might cost me 5-10 grand.
Yeah.
And actually, as I said, like I'm still muddling my way through now, but I've got to the point where it's like, done this, it's worked.
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective, from a financial perspective, and so I almost just feel as though there's going to be. I know there's people out there who have got great ideas to do what you've done,
and they just need a push,
and they just need that support, and so I think maybe you can come be a dragon.
Yeah. Oh God, I'd love to be a dragon.
We're
Salisbury Dragons.
Yeah. No, I just I think it would be fun to make content out of it, but I'd also just love to be able to invest
really
in
cool,
local people.
Yeah, but also let the people who listen to your podcast or watch your podcast like understand these people as well and feel related. It's a relatable moment, isn't it? That's what I suppose. What your purpose of this one is so that people watching it go, oh yeah, no, I had that as well, and I wasn't alone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We've had so many messages from people who go, oh yeah, like that sort of, because obviously we're talking to lots of people about coming on, and a few people have asked questions about the people on, like, can you give me their contact details and stuff, which is brilliant because that's exactly what we want to happen.
Yeah.
These businesses we're getting more clients and contacts and stuff. I think that's exactly what we want to do, is open up doors, and this is why we just want you to come on and be able to chat about what you do, and but also is there people out there who maybe you guys not at this stage, but is there somebody out there who's like, oh God, I had such a good idea like Hatti did at 25, and just needs that support to take it on. Now your charity,
Children's Chance.
Nice.
Children's Chance.
Yeah, okay. They provide funding for kids who can't afford to go to extracurricular activities or music lessons and stuff like that. And we've got a few kids at Panthera that are funded by Children's Chance, and they're a brilliant charity. They really provide a really good network and support for children in Salisbury.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Okay.
Love that.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll end on the darts. Don't forget the darts.
No, I didn't want to remind you of that.
Yeah.
We're definitely doing the darts.
to be fair, you've got 11 minutes to get to your...
I'm off.
Yeah.
Ready? Are they rolling?
Yeah.
In case this is incredible.
Oh. Okay, you're not last.
Yeah!
So you got 2 free.
What did Paddy get?
You're top table, to be honest.
What did Paddy get? 37?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have watched it a few times.
I just got to beat him. He keeps saying, that he's your favourite podcaster, and I'm going to be sad.
What's that?
6.
Oh, 24.
Oh,
Yes!
There you go.
That is hilarious.
In my life.